Hello, my friends. It is I, Professor Nice Guy. Now, please pardon the mask, as there is a bit of an outbreak, or a pandemic, if you will, going on. And it's clearly for that, and not to hide my disgusting lack of a jawline. In the same way that when I'm out in public, I stay 6 feet away from people, because I don't want to spread my germs, and not because that's all the closer anyone will come to me. But enough about me. In our last video, I educated everyone as to why all women are stupid. Link for that video will be down in the description in case you have not been educated yet on the subject. But today, we are going to be talking about one woman in particular, a streamer by the name of Tiny Badger. Now, originally, when I checked out her videos, I thought she'd be a quality woman, but I could not be more mistaken. And that is what we are going to be discussing here today. Now, I will be making this video into 3 main parts to accurately portray exactly why Tiny Badger is the worst person I've ever seen on the internet. And no, that is not an exaggeration. Shut up! Point number 1. She is unprofessional. Now, you may say, oh, well, she only streams for fun. Yeah, if you're a fucking idiot, maybe that's what you'd say. But she makes money on her streams. And last I checked, the technical definition of a professional is when you get paid for doing something. And as such, you should take your job seriously. Now, how is Tiny unprofessional? Well, for one, she gets drunk on stream.
Alright, so guys, I have this theory. And you guys know how You guys know how I'm an alcoholic, right? So basically, I have this theory that, you know how, like, natural selection works by, like, killing off all the stupid things and, like, the smart things get to prosper? Well, if I'm losing brain cells every time I drink alcohol, that means that I'm losing the stupid ones, the ones that are dumb enough to die to alcohol. So, by drinking, I'm actually getting smarter.
I know! Can you believe it? A streamer drinking while streaming? Ludicrous! Now listen, we all get drunk and cry ourselves to sleep at night while softly wetting our pants. But we don't film it and put it out on the internet and expect to get paid for it. Now you might be thinking, why, Professor Nice Guy, why don't you just voice your criticisms to her? Well, if only it were that simple. Unfortunately, Tiny Badger does not take well to criticism, if she takes it at all. Why, I was just on her stream the other day, and a fellow came on and gave a heartfelt criticism on things he thought she should improve on. Things such as using more memes, or speaking more often to the chat. And what does she do? She bans him. And then her and her toxic community proceed to make fun of this gentleman. Again, very unprofessional. Now you might be thinking, she doesn't take criticism. Maybe her streams are perfect. Poor foolish dumbass. If her streams were perfect, would she rage quit video games?
Come on, Froggy. Okay, you know what, guys? I'm done. I'm going to bed. I'm done. I'm going to bed. I'm not dealing with Froggy anymore, and we're going to be playing something else tomorrow. Because this is the worst thing that Sonic the Hedgehog has ever put in a game, ever. It's so fucking bad. How do I lose a life when I don't catch a fish? I don't know. But this game broke me. I'm done. I'm fucking done.
When you are a professional, there is an accountability to be had. You are obligated to do your job. And if your job is to play a video game, and you just say, fuck this, I quit, the Froggy levels were too hard, well then, how can you even call yourself a professional? Not to mention, her fans donated for her to drink what is called fight milk on stream, and she didn't do it. Why, I haven't seen someone so unprofessional since when I paid a sex worker to blow me, and she just took my money and pulled a gun on me. Now, you think that if your job was to play video games, you would at least be good at them. Well, Tiny Badger isn't just bad at video games. She is a fake gamer girl. That's right, the absolute worst thing a person can be. Evidence numero uno. She rage quit Sonic Adventure DX, as I have already talked about. Now, if you were a real gamer, would you do that? I think not. Now, why does she rage quit? Quite obvious. She dies a lot. Now, I would put a compilation of Tiny Badger deaths in any video game, but unfortunately, I don't have space on my computer for 6,800 hours of footage. Seriously, if you were to go to any one of her streams, you would be lucky if you caught 5 minutes of footage without her dying in any of it. Sometimes her games crash while she starts the stream. She effectively dies before pushing the start button. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, but Professor Nice Guy, just because she dies a lot doesn't mean she's not a gamer. It just means she's a bad one. You're an idiot! You're so fucking stupid! Because you haven't let me finish talking yet. I guarantee your grubby little fingers are typing down in those comments about what a fool I am. Oh, Professor Nice Guy, you never know what you're talking about. Are you even a real professor? Yeah, I am! Shut the fuck up! Lost my composure there for a second. And it's true. You don't have to be a good gamer to be a gamer. But here's where I hit you with that Tiny Badger isn't a gamer at all. She has never played Skyrim or Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time. I've never played Ocarina of Time before. Because apparently I had bad taste. How have I not played Skyrim? I don't know.
I know. Let that sink in. They are only two of the biggest landmarks in gaming history. Any gamer worth their salt would have beat both of those games 100 times over. Tiny Badger hasn't even played them once. Now I feel I have already made my case as to why Tiny Badger is not a real gamer. But if I still have not convinced you, then there is one final piece of evidence that I can use to silence all criticisms on this point. She didn't even know how to unlock Supersonic in Sonic Adventure DX.
Because I swear to God, I swear you can beat the game without beating Big's campaign. So we're going to go into Sonic's campaign, and we're going to go to Mystic Ruins and see if I can get to Supersonic. My thing is, I've done the Supersonic fight several times, and I've never done the Cat campaign. So I guess maybe I was always doing it on my brother's file?
That's just embarrassing, quite frankly. I couldn't think of something more humiliating to have out there online than to not know how to unlock Supersonic in Sonic Adventure DX. If she were a man, I would feel bad for her. Now I know what you're thinking. She's unprofessional, a fake gamer. How could it get worse than that? Well, my friends, what if I told you that Tiny Badger was also a bad person? I know what you're thinking. How can a person get any worse than this? Just evidence numero uno as to why she's a bad person. She constantly goes off on stream on how she goes on a lot of failed dates, about how guys ghost her, never show up for dates, and when they do go on a date, it's bad. Well, what's the common denominator on those dates? Tiny Badger. These men must be picking up that she is not a quality woman, and so just wipe their hands clean of her before they have to deal with any of her bullshit, like not knowing how to unlock Supersonic and Sonic Adventure DX. That is a deal breaker. Another problem with her on those dates is they might pick up that she is in fact a thought. Now, you might be thinking, what evidence do you have that she is a thought? Well, first of all, she is a woman who breathes. But secondly, she also goes on about how all of her viewers are her boyfriends.
Pufferfish, he's not a simp. He's a beautiful, amazing writer. Nobody in here is a simp because I am all of your guys' girlfriend. You understand that, right?
Very thoughty behavior, if I do say so myself. And I do, and it is. And secondly, on that point, Tiny Badger, if I was your boyfriend, I've never had a girlfriend, but I hear they're supposed to do things for you, like make you dinner, and you have not made me dinner once. Thought! Now, if you still don't believe me that Tiny Badger is a bad person, well, I've got bad news for you. I have first-hand knowledge. How did I get that? One of her mods actually wrote me a letter telling me about all the indignities he's had to suffer working under Tiny Badger. Now, Tiny Badger once claimed on a stream that she does not require anybody to donate. But her mod, by the name of Brandon Vic Boss Morgan, wrote me plainly saying that he was told in the DMs that he had to pay Tiny Badger or he would be permabanned. Did I see these DMs? No, but I can believe it. He then goes on to say, I was one of her first viewers. I just thought her furry tutorials were cool. Then one day, she went on a rant telling me that furries aren't people, degrading me, humiliating me. It was horrible. He then goes on. She put on a fursuit head to mock us. Every night, I see that horrifying suit head, and it just laughs. If I believed in God, Brandon Vic Boss Morgan, my prayers would go out to you. Now, I have not seen the rant in question that Brandon is talking about here, but I'm going to choose to believe it exists. Because firstly, it perfectly aligns with the narrative that I'm trying to paint for you here, but on top of that, it perfectly confirms my pre-existing bias on this person. So, I see no choice but to treat it as fact. I do have circumstantial evidence that is relevant to the Brandon Vic Boss Morgan testimony. Tiny Badger kink shames.
Okay, so, sometimes when I'm bored and feel bad about myself, I look up weird fetishes that I don't have. Pirating the ROM is so much cooler and freer, isn't it? Anyways, so, you know how I always talk about gore? Because it's one of those fetishes that I kind of get, but I don't have, you know? Apparently soul gore is a thing, and I'm just like, alright, eating people alive, I could almost see how you could find that attractive. But eating someone's soul, how do you even roleplay that? How do you even, like, I guess there's some fetishes that can only be depicted in art, and I kind of feel sorry for people that have those fetishes, because it must really suck to only be turned on by drawn characters and not, like, real people. I guess I'm in the Mystic Ruins now. So, like, sometimes I just look up stupid things on the internet. Oh, baby, eat my soul. And that's like a one-time thing, too. Like, you're just dead after that, right? You don't even get to, like, go to heaven or reincarnate or anything. Very cringily. I love the word cringily.
Really, Tiny? Kink shaming in 2020? I mean, Jesus hypothetical Christ. I thought you were claiming to be a quality woman, not my grandmother looking at my search history on the family computer. On top of that, Tiny Badger also claims to be a writer. It's too bad everything she writes is stolen from someone else. Plagiarism!
It is very Mass Effect. I will totally admit to having a lot of Mass Effect and Star Wars inspiration, but Mass Effect took a lot of Star Wars inspiration in general. So, I think I'm allowed that, you know? I think everyone's allowed to be inspired by things that they like, you know? As long as you take different things from the story. Like, I feel like Mass Effect did not properly focus in on humans entering into these alien platforms, you know? So I wanted to hone in on that. Like, people are allowed to get inspiration from things that they like, you know? And it is kind of said that good people are original, great people steal. Like, you're capable of creating a lot more with a story if you, kind of take aspects from the story. I think I just died. Did I not die? Wow, I'm impressed with myself. Good or steal, basically. Like, I hate to say it, but, like, it's easier to create a good story if you're basing it off of something else.
That is the most disgusting excuse I've heard for plagiarism in all my life. Now, if all that weren't bad enough, if you are still simping or standing or whatever for Tiny Badger, then I've got bad news for you. It gets Even worse, Tiny Badger likes to make fun of the mentally disabled. There's one well-known, unfortunate autistic. Her name is Christine Weston Chandler. And Tiny Badger just maliciously makes fun of her.
Every time I start talking about it, people are like, wow, you're so obsessed with this random person with autism. And I'm like, you don't understand.
Have you no heart? Have you no soul? All she wants is a boyfriend-free girl. I feel that's a motivation any of us can empathize with. But no, you just sit there and you laugh. You laugh at this poor individual. If that doesn't convince you that Tiny Badger is a horrible person, then I'm afraid you are just as bad as Tiny Badger. Well, there you go, guys. I feel I have systematically explained why Tiny Badger is awful. You're welcome.
Discord.